I have watched this movie many times over the years when it came out. At first, since my consciousness was weak, it seemed like an ordinary science fiction movie to me and it was only visually enjoyable, but after I regained consciousness, I watched it again and bingo, I realized that it was almost exactly the same as my previous article titled, The Curse of the Gods Who Created the Gods. However, I wrote that long article without being under any influence. Why don't we just remain slaves to the system and wait for the human butchers to harvest us? We can't do this because we can perceive it as a bad damn thing. Because we carry the DNA of the innocents who came before us, who rebelled for freedom and were harvested for it. Awakened consciousnesses carry the genes of those who fought for freedom hundreds, thousands, even tens of thousands of years ago. That's why we can't resist this feeling of freedom that swells within us through the inheritance of genetic predisposition. If this awareness has begun to awaken in you, I suggest you take the messages in such movies seriously. Especially this scene. The grandchildren of the masters who imprisoned Neo i.e. us here are afraid of the Russians' artificial intelligence project. I realized this long ago. That's why they're pressuring Elon Musk. Their goal is to build these skyships as soon as possible and escape from here. Because they cannot predict who will be the winner of this great massacre. Because if this artificial intelligence project succeeds, the ones being harvested could be the harvesters themselves, and this damned system could turn against them. That's why they're considering every possibility. To my friends who wonder if movies are believable, I recommend you reconsider their possibility of happening and their relevance to real life. Why are Jewish America and Israel afraid of this artificial intelligence, even though it has weapons that can destroy the world? Because most of the fears they instilled in humanity were artificial. The history they wrote was also a lie. The Russians know this very well. That's why they're spending millions of dollars on the AI 2045 project. If you try a little harder, you can see what I see and understand the seriousness of the situation. If you can't grasp it, like Neo at the end of the clip, the only thing you can do is beg, "Get us out of here."